All right, for segment 1 today, we're kicking off. We're going to start looking at some interesting stuff, and we're going to look at Dungeons & Dragons Rules Cyclopedia Weapon Mastery. What does that mean for you AD&D folks like me? Is it like having a weapon proficiency or weapon specialization, or is it something totally different? Is it just some generic words out there that says, hey, make the fighter useful now because otherwise they cry about, I'm boring? I don't know. We're going to find out here in just a moment. Hey, there we go. All right, so 2 topics today. They both cover a bunch of pages. Hopefully there's some tables and charts in there. Otherwise, this is going to be longer than I thought. So we're going to be down here, Chapter 5, page 75. Oh, that was not even close. Okay. Oh, wow. Right. Okay, so that's attack and defense, skilled weapon use. There's weapon mastery. Okay. So let's zoom in on this and see what we get. Now, when we did character creation and a couple other points, but when we did character creation, we talked about, hey, fighters get such and so. Was it set shield versus charge? And there's another one. I forgot what it is off the top of my head, but you can watch character creation videos.
They get other ones at what, level 9?
Right. Well, we'll see here for sure what they get. But there are certain ones that they get at specific times, yes. Those are part of the weapon mastery. And why do they get them? Because, again, and I'm not saying they cry, a fighter should be better at fighting than somebody who, look, I picked up a sword to make sure I might not die. Look, there's a difference between being trained like your special forces in the military, a guy who goes to the range, I don't know, once a month, and somebody who knows where the trigger is on a firearm. So weapon mastery is there to kind of indicate that. And since this is a class-based game, not a skill-based game, it's going to be related to your class. All right, so in the Dungeons & Dragons combat system, each character automatically knows how to use every weapon available to his character class for use. We talked about that before. This isn't something we have to pick weapons. If it says that you're a fighter and you know all weapons, guess what that means? You know all. That's right.
Even a slingshot? Yeah, man, even a slingshot. Yeah.
Remember, the idea isn't to be realistic. Well, that's not realistic. Does he know how to use an addle? If it's in your game, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he does. The following system gives player characters the option to either study one weapon in depth or to study a few weapons to a less intense degree. Okay, so what was that called in Shadowrun? Focus and specialization?
Yeah.
So it seems similar to that. When a character is using the weapon he has mastered, he has an advantage over those who have not studied those weapons. Okay. With the weapon mastery rules, when a human character is started, he does not know how to use any weapons. Okay. He's given weapon choices so that he may choose to learn individual weapons. Demi-humans do not gain or use weapon choices due to their longer lifespans and wilderness-oriented lifestyles. Love it. Demi-human characters start with basic skill in all weapons, not restricted from their classes. However, demi-humans can increase their weapon mastery through training as outlined below. Now, I don't know yet. We'll have to see if the verbiage here updates this. But doesn't this seem to conflict with what it said a moment ago?
It does conflict with what it said a moment ago from what I'm reading. Yeah.
Okay. So let's... Fighters start off at first level with 4 weapon choices. Okay, these are starting to look like weapon proficiencies now.
Yep.
All of the character classes start off with 2. Human characters gain 1 new weapon choice at each of the following experience levels: 3, 6, 9, 11, 15, 23, 30, and 36. Fighters also gain weapon choices at 19, 27, and 33. Okay, so I'm like, why did you separate that? Because the first one specifically said human characters. So your human cleric would also get this.
Right.
Fighters specifically get 19, 27, and 33 as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
All characters gain 1 new weapon choice for every 200,000 experience points they earn above their maximum experience level. Remember, while the game does stop at level 36, or if you're a demi-human, say level 8.
Well, that's the mystic.
I thought there's halfling.
Okay.
Yeah, any of them, right? You'll still get a new weapon choice for every 200,000 experience points. The weapon choices by experience level table shows the character's number of weapon choices. So what do you do with these weapon choices? For each weapon choice he has, a character may choose to learn one weapon at the basic level of ability. Okay? By one weapon, we mean precisely that. One weapon from the weapon mastery table, used in one fashion only. That's italicized, so I'm sure it's going to mean something in a minute. Right now, I'm okay. One weapon, for example, might mean a normal sword. It does not mean all swords.
What's a normal sword? What's an abnormal sword? Okay.
Well, we'd look at the list. I'm sure it's like short sword. It was probably short sword, two-handed sword, or something like that. In our terms, for like second edition, it'd probably mean a long sword. But the list will determine it. Is the way I'm gonna say it right now. When a weapon can be used in two different fashions, for example, one-handed or two-handed, as with the Bastard Sword, a weapon choice buys only one of those fashions. Wow,
that is lame.
That's a dick move.
Yeah.
A character can have different levels of mastery, for example, with one-handed Bastard Swords and two-handed Bastard Swords, depending on how he's allotted his weapon choices. One exception is the net. Training with a net allows a character to use small nets one-handed and larger nets two-handed. So the net has only one entry on the weapon mastery table. Well, it's going to be fun to look at that table here in a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. Basic level of ability is the same level of ability you're already familiar with. Basic level allows a character to use the weapon effectively by doing the damage and special functions listed on the weapon table in Chapter 4. However, which we covered last week. Mm-hmm. However, a character does not have to use every weapon choice he has to buy basic level ability with a new weapon. Instead, he can choose to specialize by applying his weapon choices to a weapon he already knows, thus improving his ability with that weapon. These degrees of ability are called levels of mastery and are listed in the weapon mastery table. Okay, so if you've played 2nd edition AD&D, or technically if you played 1st edition with, I think it's Unearthed Arcana, you probably already understand what this is. This is just weapon proficiency and weapon specialization.
Yeah, it seems like it's replacing what we saw during the class write-ups and character generation and stuff.
Which surprises me, because I thought I remembered when I skimmed through this the first time. To be fair, like I said, I skimmed through it. I didn't remember that, or I didn't recognize that. I thought what this did is you don't really get any bonuses to hit or whatever, but you start gaining the special features of the weapon. So either I totally misread that, or it's going to come later. I don't know. So at experience level 1, fighters have 4 weapon choices. Everybody else has 2. And if we go down here to level 36, fighters have 15. Just a couple. If you really notice, I really feel like this game has every character coming into his own around level 9. It just seems that everything, when you get your name, so to speak, that's when, okay, I really do what I'm supposed to do now. Plus 1 weapon choice per 200,000 XP above the character's maximum experience level. All right. So, number of weapon choices spent. If you spend 0 on a weapon, therefore you basically don't know how to use it, what does that mean? Oh, you're unskilled. Huh. If you spend 1 choice on it, you went to, what is it Heathen Dog likes to say? You went to the mall and took your weekend classes.
There you go. We got your basic.
Got your basics down. You know, you decide you want to focus on it a little bit more. You want to spend a little more time learning this weapon. You want to be Bruce Lee with the nunchaku, okay? You get to level 2, or a weapon mastery level 2, and you become skilled. Bruce would probably be down here more, but you get what I'm saying. You actually look pretty cool with it now and can bonk a couple people on the head. But that's not enough for you. You want to be an expert. Well, got to spend another skill point on that. Theoretically, and now the rules might say no. I already see the first sentence down there, so it probably says no. But theoretically, if you had 4 points to start the game, you could be an expert in 1 weapon. I bet you the rules say no to that, but I'm just saying with those 4 points, 1, 2, 3, 4, actually you'd be a master. But you'd only know how to use 1 weapon. And you can see the rest of the list there. At first level experience, character must spend all of his weapon choices on different weapons. There you go.
Oh, there. I screwed that idea.
He may not yet progress beyond basic ability with any weapon. I'm actually okay with that rule, and the reason I'm okay with it is because you're starting a first level character. Stop trying to be a master at level 1.
Yeah,
grow your freaking character.
That's just min-maxing gone wrong. Don't do that.
Right. He may spend subsequent weapon choices to either buy basic ability with a new weapon or to gain the opportunity to prove his level of mastery with a weapon he already knows. Wait, I thought you said must spend all his weapon choices on a different weapon.
Yeah, he may spend subsequent weapon choices. That's when you gain level.
Oh, yeah. Okay, you're right. Yeah. Subsequent. Okay, for some reason that didn't register in my noodle. Okay, got it. In general, the higher a character's level of mastery with a weapon, the more damage he does with the weapon, and the greater number of special results he can achieve with the weapon. The different levels of mastery are detailed under training next. Okay, before we get to that, what's this little chart down here? Okay, that's going to be training.
How much time it takes to train.
Yeah. We'll look at that after we read training then. Although characters can gain basic levels of mastery simply by expending weapon choices, characters cannot attain higher levels in the same way. Once the character has spent his first level choices, to gain additional knowledge of the use of a weapon, he must be trained by someone who has equal or greater knowledge of that specific weapon. That someone could be another PC, but it's usually an NPC teacher found during adventures or through word of mouth. In some campaigns, weapon masters run academies where they teach the proper use of specific weapons. Sword academies are common. In other campaigns, mystics may allow non-mystics to learn at their monasteries. Many mystics are weapon masters. Demi-humans can train to reach higher levels of weapon mastery just as human characters can. However, demi-humans are eligible to train only at levels 4 and 8, and level 12 for dwarves, because they're dwarves. They're stubborn like that. They don't follow no rules.
Yeah.
And every 200,000 experience points after reaching their maximum level. After finding a trainer who will provide the necessary instruction, the student must pay all of the required costs before training can begin. The cost and time required for weapon training vary by level of mastery sought, and they are listed in the training table costs, which we will look at in a moment, but we kind of glanced at a second ago. A student can train only to the next rank of ability above his own. He can go from basic to skilled, for example, and next time go from skilled to expert, but he can never jump straight from basic to expert. Again, I like that. It makes sense. You kind of just have to get better and better over time, and with training, you can't just be like, skip that crap, I'm already up here, Grandmaster. The student can train in the hope of achieving the next level of mastery, and yet fail to do so. Okay, that seems like a dick move again.
It is.
Remember, so before I read this, I might actually totally agree with this when we're done. Understand I have, you forgot to mute there.
Yeah, I hit the wrong button.
We have the, you have to remember this is a game. And I know some people like to be really simulationist. I get that. I sometimes lean in that direction. But it is also a game. Now, I know somebody's going to use that argument against me. Well, then training is stupid. No, training's not stupid. I just wouldn't have the character fail.
Yeah,
at least,
I mean,
again,
you've already spent money, you spent time, you put in the hours, you put in the work. I mean, come on.
Now, I mean, different games have different, like Call of Cthulhu, for example. You roll against what your skill roll is. Maybe you didn't learn anything, but that's such a more granular game than this.
It's harder as you get better. It's not a binary thing, pass, fail, boom. It doesn't matter how good you are or how good you weren't. You could just fail to learn shit. I don't like that.
His chances of success and failure vary by the mastery levels of himself and his trainer, as given in the chance of training success table. Okay. From the character's perspective, failure may only occur because the trainer has insufficient knowledge or lacks the ability to train others, or because the student cannot fully absorb the new information. Me dumb, not know. Sword do more than pokey? No.
Well, it's pretty good that there's no Yelp in this world.
I've never actually used Yelp, but yeah. Is it still a popular thing, or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Failure does not mean that the character has lost his weapon of choice for that experience level. Okay, well...
Yeah, because you failed to learn, it doesn't mean you lose the slot you just got.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I get that. It's just, I don't know, this is overcomplicating things that don't need to be overcomplicated. Right. The weapon choice is still there, and it's still dedicated to the weapon and level of mastery is chosen for it. The student has lost the time and money he has spent. Oh, okay. Now the Yelp review's coming in.
Yep.
But he may spend more time and money until he reaches the level of mastery for which he has spent his weapon choice.
Okay. Yeah, I would never use this. Ever.
Yeah, that for my taste, that's a little too simulationist. I mean, I get it. When I took martial arts, there were some people who were just and other people who were, just needed more time. I get it, but I'm not not playing the real world necessarily. Like, there's got to be a balance between verisimilitude or of the real world and verisimilitude of the game. All right, the chance of success is checked. We'll get to the table in a moment here. Halfway through the training period, and the student is immediately informed of the results. In role-playing situations, usually consists of teacher taking the student aside and telling them, yeah, buddy, you're just not there yet.
Out.
Yeah, but with more training, with more money. See, there we go. There's the scam right there. Like,
that's the scam. It said earlier you must pay all money up front, and then halfway through, you'll know if you succeed or fail. You don't get your money back if you fail. What the hell? Actually, if I were playing a character this happened to, I was like, oh no, you're gonna give me my money back. I don't have to. No, you don't have to, but you're gonna.
Well, theoretically, he's probably better at the weapon than you.
No. That is true. That is true. But his family is undefended at the moment. I get real mean when you steal my money.
Well, the student may then either continue or stop the training.
There's no reason to continue. You've already failed. Continuing is wasting more time on top of wasting all the money.
Well, this next one goes into the why continue. If the success roll failed, but the student decides to continue training for the full period, the student may then study the same level again, but with a different trainer, and his chance of success is increased by 10%.
Well, I'd have to see what the base chance is before I decide whether that's good or not. Like, if the base chance is 10%, that's not worth it.
We'll get back to it after we get through this section here. If the student chooses to stop the training midway, he may then study the same level with a different master at the same chance for success. The two advantages of this option are that the character does not lose the rest of the time he would spend with the first teacher, and that the first teacher normally refunds half the cost of the training.
Normally. All right.
Yeah. Chaotic teachers might not offer refunds. As you can see from the chance of training success table, which we haven't looked at yet, we will look at in a moment. It is possible a 1% chance for a character to learn a superior level of weapon mastery from a teacher who's actually the character's equal. Wait. Wow. We train so well together, even though we're the same skill, that I learned something from this. Mm-hmm. Fair enough. Such unusual training, I'm not reading the parenthetical, we're going down. However, learning from an equal level teacher is very difficult to do. Whenever possible, students should find a teacher who is more skilled than he is. When that isn't possible, however, he will have to train with a teacher who is equal. I am, it's funny. I am pro training. I am pro old school with this regard. I know some of the newer people are like, oh, this is a waste of time. Look, you don't get to be a 22-year-old epic freaking weirdo hero. Training takes time. Training, yes, you can be really great, but you need experience and you need time to absorb it, learn it, so forth. I just don't accept, the whole thing that I'm 16 and I'm the Grand Master Assassin of the land. No. But this just seems overkill. I would not implement it this way. Let's just put it that way. At the more advanced levels, characters are likely to train with their equals and just as likely to fail their chance to succeed the first time around. Most characters will choose to finish training with that teacher anyway so that they will have the 10% bonus with the next teacher they train under. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, but I still want to see the base chance. Does that 10% actually matter? Is it worth the extra money?
Obviously, it takes quite a while to attain the Grand Master level of competency. All right, so let's now look at that chart. Scroll over a little bit. So, student's knowledge and trainer's knowledge. So if the student's knowledge is none, we'll say basic, you're starting off, and the trainer's knowledge, like expert, you have a 70% chance to succeed.
To go up to skilled. Okay.
Yeah, to go up. At each one of these, as you can see, if you're the same skill level, you got that 1% as it's showing here.
1% chance. That's...
Well, that's if you're both... It already said that. That's if you're both the same skill.
It did. Okay, so that extra 10%, depending on the next trainer, could be relevant or it could not matter.
Are there any other charts here? Nope, that's it. I was wondering if there's like, oh, here we go. Here's the cost. So if you are basic and you want to get up to skilled, yep, it's going to cost you $250. But this game, let's be honest, this game hands out gold like candy, though.
It's true. But I thought it said earlier that getting a new basic skill doesn't cost any training time or money. But why is it costing here?
I don't remember reading that.
Yeah. At first level, character must spend all of his weapon choices, blah, blah. He may spend subsequent weapon choices to either buy basic ability with a new weapon or to gain the opportunity to improve his level of mastery with a weapon he already knows.
Yeah, but I mean, that's first level. I mean, I'm not stressed over...
I was reading subsequent levels.
Yeah. I mean, it says buy...
Yeah, with your weapon choices that you get at level 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, whatever.
Yeah, I don't read it that I would read it based off the chart, which is
this whole section sucks. I'm not about it.
So I'd say if you want to learn new base, well, after first level, this is what you're doing. You're following this chart.
I don't like it.
Anyway. Yeah, believe it or not, that part doesn't bother me at all. The part that bothers me is the failing of the roll, and why does it... This is unnecessary.
Yeah. It still hasn't told me why this section changes all the other sections we've read earlier about weapons and your ability to use them. Nothing in here has said anything about that yet, and I'm getting a little pissed.
Well, we got a few pages to go, so let's look at unskilled weapon use. So you don't know how to use it. Character is not trained in any way. Okay, if an unskilled character uses a weapon, the weapon has its basic mastery characteristics, bonuses, or penalties. Huh? The weapon has its basic mastery characteristics, bonuses, or penalties, but it does only half damage. Thus, an unskilled character uses a weapon that does a D8 points of damage, will roll a D8 and then half the result. Rounding fractions down. Specifically says down there for actual damage. Missile weapons used at the unskilled mastery level also receive a -1 penalty to attack rolls. Just a -1? I've used a bow before, and whatever.
I couldn't hit the broadside of a barn when I first picked up a bow.
Yep.
I would actually, I would have a better chance of hitting myself.
Yeah, we were joking in the Codex Albana game yesterday of that whole was that Monty Python thing, and the guy like shooting out the window. And I think the first time I used a bow, that's probably what I look like. And trying to hold the thing out there and pull it back. And no, I never cut my fingers. Let's see. When using the weapon mastery rules, the weapons from the last chapter's weapon table acquire new ability and damage ranges. Okay. All these new bonuses, damage types, and special uses are given in the weapon mastery table in this chapter. Got it. Weapons that were nearly identical in the previous rules become much more distinctive here. Characters might choose to specialize in a particular weapon because of its better damage against weapon-using opponents, or they might choose a weapon for its special use, such as parrying blows or tripping opponents. The DM may modify the weapon mastery table if he chooses, either by adjusting listed weapons on weapon characteristics or by adding new weapons. He should not add any new weapons that are significantly more powerful than the ones listed in this table. New weapons should be assigned balance, benefits, and weaknesses. By the way, Palladium Books puts out this really, really, really amazing weapon series books. Each one of them is drawn too. It's like 9 million weapons, it seems, like more than you will ever need in your campaign. And you can actually port them into your D&D campaign with very little issues. Types of benefits. Characters gain several benefits from weapon mastery. All right, let's. These benefits include extra damage. Well, there's a good thing. Attack roll bonuses. Okay, so we're talking weapon specialization, right? Improved range with missiles and throwing weapons. Ability to throw some hand-to-hand weapons. Bonuses to armor class. Okay, interesting. And other special results: stunning, paralysis, entanglement, etc. Okay, now you're talking. Applying the benefits, some maneuvers and special weapons effects in these rules provide bonuses to attack rolls in combat. These benefits are applied before other modifiers. Using this method, high experienced fighters and demi-humans might gain enough bonus to bring an attack roll needed to 2 or less. Okay. Activating the multiple attack option, which we will look at in Chapter 8, which will be in a while because we're in Chapter 5 right now. Other weapon mastery benefits can be applied during the normal course of combat sequence. Benefits such as the greater damage available can be crucial factors when doubled by the thief's backstab ability.
That's fair. It's said this bonus damage is done before all of the modifiers, including the multiplier for the backstab. So
I wasn't even thinking about backstab. Yeah. That's pretty cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Some benefits can occur only if the player announces that his character is deliberately using them, such as deflecting, disarming, etc. That makes sense.
Sure.
The player must always tell the DM he's using one of these options. He must mention this use before he rolls to hit.
Yep.
That's standard across pretty much any game.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is too late to mention after the die has been cast. But I got a 20. I want to do this.
I'm sorry, brother.
Armor class bonuses gained through weapon mastery should be applied automatically in all applicable situations. However, players may want to remind the DM once or twice. This is true. Game masters forget. I wish I was omnipotent, but I'm not. All right, there are a number of attack and defense benefits available to characters when using the weapon mastery rules. These are outlined in the following text. All right, so opponent type and damage bonus. Many damage increases and attack roll bonuses may vary with the type of opponent. Opponents that attack with two-handed missile fire devices have similar defenses to those that attack with natural body weaponry. Say what? Opponents that attack with don't hit the microphone. That attack with two-handed missile fire devices have similar defenses to those that attack with natural body weaponry. This type of opponent is designated M for missile or monster.
Okay, I don't know what that means. Yeah. I read it 3 times. I still don't know what it means.
Yep, we'll keep reading here and see if we can make heads or tail of that when we get to the designations at some point. Defense is very different for opponents using handheld weapons that are swung, such as swords and axes, or thrown, such as daggers and bolas, and opponents using missile fire weapons that need only one hand, slings, short blowguns, preloaded light crossbows. Okay. On the weapon mastery table, these opponents are designated H for handheld.
That's all. God damn it.
Well, I'm sure when we see the chart,
it's getting worse. It's getting more and more complicated for no reason.
This part, I'm gonna wait to make that judgment yet. The language is weird, but once we see the table, it might just fall into place. If an opponent could fit into both categories, such as a were-rat carrying a sword who has both natural body weaponry and handheld weaponry, the character attacking that opponent uses his weapon's damage result that are most favorable to the opponent, not to the attacker. Just like in many things, tie goes to the defender. Got it? However, if this type of opponent drops the weapon it holds, it immediately becomes category M for all calculations. So he can't be H because he's not holding anything anymore. He instantly becomes an M. That makes sense. For monster in this case, not missile.
That makes sense. But allowing it to be decided for the defender, the attacker is the one choosing whether to attack with a sword or a claw. Why is the defender in this calculation at all at that point?
Because the defender is also defending with either a sword or a claw.
No, that's not what it said.
But that's the implication.
No. If an opponent could fit into both categories, like the were-rat you're talking about, the character attacking that opponent uses his weapon's damage result that are most favorable to the okay. You're attacking someone with either one possible, so he gets to choose how to defend against it. Okay,
basically,
yes, I get it now. I read it wrong. That's on me.
So I mean, it doesn't have an active defense like Palladium. It's an implied defense.
Yeah.
Most weapons are better when attacking one or the other of these defense categories. On the weapon mastery table, each weapon's listing shows a primary opponent and a secondary opponent. A few weapons are equally good against both target types. They bear the notation P equals A. A stands for all. Okay. I like
work.
tables, but I'm starting to get
But-
worried about this one.
Yeah, I'm a little worried when I see this table. It's going to be an eye test alphabet.
Oh. No, he got it, Violence. He got it. Violence tells everything was saying that you got it backward.
Yeah. I got it in the end.
Characters with skilled or better weapon masteries receive bonuses to the attack roll with the mastered weapons, as noted in the attack roll bonus table.
Finally.
When the character successfully completes training and achieves a new level of weapon mastery,
Both those things have to happen.
he gains a new applicable attack roll bonus and all the other special. Okay, let's just see what the special crap is. So basic, no bonus. That makes sense because you have the default. You've got your default combat roll, right? You're skilled. You get a +2 versus your primary opponent and +1 versus a secondary, using the letter notation presented above. When you're a Grand Master, it's +8 and +6. Now, you're not getting that right away. So you already have a pretty low number on that combat chart. This is almost guaranteed to drop it down to a 2.
Yeah. Don't roll a 1.
Yeah.
And you're fine.
Almost no matter what you're fighting.
Yeah. You're fighting in the dark with one hand, and there's thunderclaps every half second. Okay, you got to roll a 5. There it is.
Even with the additional bonuses gained from weapon mastery, don't forget to apply character strength adjustment to all melee attack rolls.
Forgot about that.
And to melee and thrown weapon damage rolls. And we did talk about that in the past, where the strength adjustment is just to the attack rolls for melee, but it's to both the damage of melee and thrown weapons. And I hope I just said that in English, but close enough. Also apply his dexterity adjustment to all thrown and missile attack rolls.
Yep.
Got it. Okay. So improved range. You know what I bet you this is? We'll look at the table. You can throw farther. Throwing ability with hand-to-hand weapons. Weapon masters can throw some weapons that other characters can't throw effectively.
Okay.
Masters of battle axes, clubs, and torches. I'm a master of a torch. Warhammers, bastard swords, normal swords, yada, yada, yada. Can throw these in combat starting at the expert level of mastery. You know those weapons so well, you can start chucking them at people effectively. Ranges for these weapons are given in the weapon mastery table, and there are rules for rarely thrown weapons after the table. Got it. Bonuses
like
to
a torch?
Hey man,
I would call that a rarely thrown weapon.
I practice with this torch every day, and I've only burned down 2 ends.
Oh, good.
When a character is using a weapon he has mastered, he gains an armor class bonus. Okay, the armor class bonus he received applies only to a given number of attacks per round.
Oh God, come on, man! If you're gonna make it hard, just don't do it at all. What the hell?
That number is given on the weapon mastery table and may apply to M, H, or A attackers as shown in the table. For example, if the table says that a character has M, -2 AC/2, means he gets -2 armor class bonus. Remember, low armor class is better. Against the first 2 attacks made against him that round by missiles or monster attackers. Likewise, a -6 AC/3 indicates the character gets a -6 armor class bonus against the first 3 attacks made against him in a round by any missile or monster attacker.
I am now definitely out. I'm out of this weapon mastery shit. It's not worth it.
Yeah, I think that this caters to the really, really old school skirmish gamer style that wants to play Dungeons Dragons more like a war game.
Yeah,
and to be fair, that's its roots. I get it. This so far, this is not for me. This also isn't what I thought it was. This is too much calculation every round. I don't mind THAC0. I don't mind doing a little math to figure out what you got to do on your dice.
But in the middle of the round, we're changing armor classes, so we're changing numbers that needed to hit,
right?
And it's going to be different for everybody.
Yeah,
that is clown shoes. That's ridiculous.
I'm making that shirt, by the way. People watch Friday Night know what I'm talking about. Some shields do not have a number after the slash mark. That means the shield provides the character an additional armor class benefit all the time the shield is held.
That's called a shield, dude. I don't know what to tell you, man. That's just called a shield. But only some shields do that? Shut up, dude. Shut up.
Not just for a certain number of attacks per round. I mean, I can see a tiny little buckler not being good against every single attack.
Yeah,
but it's too pedantic for a game.
Yeah.
Having an armor class bonus does not count as a maneuver. The character may still move and attack at normal rates. All right. Well, what's a defensive maneuver then? In addition to the above armor class bonuses, a character may have an armor class adjustment due to the fighting withdrawal and parry defensive maneuvers as described in Chapter 8. So a lot of these we won't get to until Chapter 8, but hopefully we'll look at them then. Maybe you can remind us. Special results. Oh my God. Well, now you know why the chart looks like this, right?
Yeah.
Weapon masters can do some amazing things with their weapons. They get more performance out of the weapons they've mastered. Most of the special results are listed in the special effects column of the weapon mastery table and are described in the section on description of special effects, which follows the table. Lovely. However, one special effect is common to all weapons, the despair effect.
Oh my. All right.
A weapon master's amazing ability with his weapon can cause despair and fear in some opponents. This is called the despair effect. When it happens, the targets affected must make a standard morale check. I love morale checks. Anyway, opponents must be of an animal intelligence to be affected. Targets that fail their morale rolls try to flee or surrender at the next opportunity. The DM should describe the expressions of the monsters who have had to make special despair roll checks, but he or she shouldn't describe whether the monsters successfully made their rolls until it's time for them to act. In Earthbound, isn't it called impressive display or something like that?
Yeah,
When to roll for despair? Never. The answer is no. Okay, what does the book say? The DM should have affected monsters and NPCs make their morale rolls under any of the following circumstances. The weapon user inflicts maximum possible damage with his weapon. The weapon user avoids all damage in a round by deflecting the opponent's blows. The weapon user disarms 2 or more opponents in the same round. The DM may choose to check for despair during other special situations. Interestingly,
that's
with the exception
all right.
Yeah, that's under to me. That's kind of under normal morale checks.
Yeah, that's just regular morale. I mean, the
second one may be a little iffy, but I don't disagree with it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. You deflect all the blows. Like, oh, try harder, dumbass. Ding, ding, ding. Oh, come on. I don't try and hit me. You know, like stuff like that. I get it.
Well, you punch yourself. PC victims of despair. Player characters under a despair effect must make a saving throw versus death ray. If they succeed, they are merely impressed. Those who fail must retreat in awe for 1d6 rounds. Well, you know what? Here's what I'll give it. At least it's fair. At least it isn't just against NPCs.
But death ray, really?
But, well, I mean, I don't care. I mean, it's a saving throw. I don't care.
You think it would be paralysis, you know? I think that'd be more appropriate, but okay.
I'd still be a little concerned if my 9th level fighter, sure, I get it. He's fighting a 16th or 19th level something or hit die something. I'd still be mad if my 9th level fighter was hiding in a corner. He was too good for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Numbers affected. The despair effect can only affect a certain number of enemies at a time. This varies with the character's level of mastery as well. Oh, as follows. I guessed. Basic. No despair effect possible. There you go. You can't do it unless you're skilled. Yep. Up to 4 hit dice or levels, up to 8, up to 12, up to 16 hit dice or levels. Well, at least there's a limit to it. Okay. But that Grand Master can make a dragon hide because we looked up the dragon stats. St. George, come on in. When the despair effect is turned on a group, it always affects the lowest level enemies first. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
A weapon master can only use his despair ability once per fight. Once the current situation leaves the combat sequence, the fight is over. Oh, okay. Way too wargamey for my tastes. Like if you're playing a skirmish game, like something like a Warhammer fantasy type thing, I can see all of this adding some flair and flavor to the game. In my role-playing games, this would start requiring, in my opinion, hey, correct me if I'm wrong. Put it in the comments if you think I'm wrong about this part, that no, it really doesn't do this. It just seems to me like it starts God, I hate I'm using this term because I normally don't agree with it, but slowing down the game to try to figure, wait, did I get it right? Did your armor class, did I hit you twice or once this round? Do you still get this bonus or not this bonus? I rolled a 13, that hits. Oh, that's right, it doesn't hit because you're thinking, so much of that discussion going on because of this. Wait, hold on, I got to see if you ran. Go ahead and make a saving throw versus
Death Ray.
Death Ray. It just seems excessive to me. Something that doesn't matter in a turn-based skirmish game, but something that's more of a, I know it's still turn-based, but it's a role-playing game. I'm not liking this. But other notes, because you know what we've read so far just isn't enough yet. When choosing a character's weapons, keep the character in mind. Be sure to select the weapons the character, not necessarily the player, would choose. Okay, great advice. Great role-playing advice after all the wargamey stuff. Be aware of standard weapon restrictions. Halflings can only use small weapons, for example, and clerics can only use things that club you in the head. Weapons that do a wide range of damage are present in each category. Low damage is usually offset by special benefits. Once a suitable weapon is found, review the other weapons within that category with comparable damage or special effects and consider the weapon's potential, available with further training. Weapon mastery choices, once taken, cannot be changed. You can't forget it. Once again, I will state... What's that?
You can't unlearn what you have. You cannot unlearn what you have learned.
Well, Yoda was wrong. I once again state that those Palladium weapon books fit this amazingly. You can find a comparable weapon because they compare the weapons in a little bit different format than D&D stats. But you can look at, it says here a sword does blah, 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 blah. D&D says a sword does blah, blah, blah. This is the same as a sword. I give it blah, 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 blah. But it looks cooler or whatever, right? I highly suggest those books if you want to add stuff to your game. Remember that weapon mastery bonuses apply only when the character is using the weapon he has mastered, not when he uses other weapons or even similar ones. That is the dumbest rule in the game that has to be there. Yes, yep, that has to be there because you know some jackass will do it. Okay.
Look, he's prancing. Prancing is not effective.
I don't know, man. Couldn't this be, provide him some despair?
Looks like not. It's providing him boredom.
All right, let's take a look at some weapons here. Oh, wait, that's the wrong
chart.
Okay. Lots of symbols, lots of things. And let me see. Okay.
Is that Microsoft Word wingdings?
Might be. Back from 1990s. Let's find a weapon here. Blowgun. I want to find something kind of common. Crossbow sling. Is there sword? Are there no just swords? Oh, I only looked at the first column. That's my bad. Javelin, net.
Other column.
Oh, sword, bastard sword. There we go.
Sword. There you go.
Okay. Mace. There we go. Let's look at him. The mace doesn't have a lot to it. Warhammer. There we go. That has a lot of symbols on here. Has a lot of wingdings.
Got the wingdings.
The torch is right above it. We can look at both. So, primary versus monster. That's what that means. Okay, got that. It's got a pointy finger. It's got an inverted star. It's got a cross. And it's got a circle. I don't know what any of that crap means. So, let's start with the pointy finger. Oh, there we go, legend down here. Pointy finger means one-handed weapon. And two pointy fingers means two-handed weapon always loses initiative. Okay. But it's a one-handed weapon. Sure. Got that. Scroll back up. What's the next one? Where were we? Oh, we were looking at mace, right?
Circle
we were looking at we were looking at the Warhammer. Okay.
Reverse.
The circle, the inverted star. Inverted star. Shield may be used with this weapon. So far, okay, common sense, but I get it. Then a cross and a circle. What just happened? Hello?
That's the book has failed you.
Yep, the book has certainly failed me. What is going on here?
All right. I thought this was supposed to be basic Dungeons Dragons.
Well, this is why people have been telling me that whole thing. Stop saying basic, I guess.
I guess so. Yeah, this is calculus and dragons.
And the thing is, I like tables. I'm now starting to agree with Kevin that tables are bad. Now, this doesn't bother me. This is one of those things that you just get used to. To be fair, I would just write this on my character sheet. That it would just get written on my character sheet. So it'd be one lookup and done. So I'm not going to argue about that too much. Okay, so we had the cross and the circle. The cross it's a melee weapon, rarely or never thrown. Okay, so you can't just whip it out. And wait, a circle's a medium weapon. What? A one-handed medium weapon. Okay, so all this crap together means one-handed medium weapon that you can use with a shield and probably shouldn't throw. Got it.
Great.
I could have told you that without symbols and so forth. Okay, cost is 5 gold. Encumbrance is 50 coin, so basically 5 pounds. Now, when you become, so you have basic, skilled, expert. When you become an expert, you can throw it.
Then you can throw it.
Yep.
10 yards
but that's
and 20
going to
yards.
be at medium range and at long range. You have no short range until you're a grandmaster. Then you have a short range. So each one of those, I don't know what the penalties are. If it's second edition, it's -2, -5. No. That's 5th edition. I forget what they are in second edition now. But yeah, so you'll have a little minor penalty there, but okay. Now, damage, basic. If you got just the weapon proficiency, if you're playing a normal game with just weapon proficiencies and saying screw all this crap, or you just have basic skill, it's 1d6 damage. But once you become skilled, it's 1d6 plus 2 damage. When you're an expert,
Sure. And then when you're an expert, it's 1d6 plus 2,
Jewish.
and you're now Jewish?
Okay, let's go see what the Star of David is down
What
here.
does Jewish mean? You have to be circumcised to use this weapon now.
Melee weapon may be thrown. But
okay. All right.
Isn't that
That's when you can
implied by
start
just
throwing it.
putting the range chart? Oh my.
Yeah, it is. It's not implied. It's stated that once you have a ranges on there, you can throw it. But
Okay, and we'll get
sure.
to the armor class stuff in a moment here. All right. Now, at the master level, you do 1d8 plus 5 to your primary and 1d6 plus 4 to your secondary. Okay, 1d8 plus 2 is between 3 and 10. This makes it between 5 and... Okay, it's still better. It's just not as good as that. I got it. Okay. And then 1d8 plus 7 and 1d6 plus 7. Remember, this doesn't count your strength bonus. That could be added to that as well.
Yep.
This part I'm okay with. I like this part of it. You're putting more skill into it. You're going to do more damage. You know. Okay. Now, versus M, which is monster or missile, versus M-type creatures. At the skilled level, okay, so basic nothing, right? Up there. Hopefully you guys can see that. Here, I'll zoom in just a little more. It's fuzzy. Now it's making my eyes water. When you're skilled with it, you do d6 plus 2 damage, we said, but you'll be -2 AC. Remember, minus is good for 2 attacks that round. At the Grand Master, you'll be -5 AC for 4 attacks that round. I get what they're going for. Seeing it on the table makes it... Actually, reading it was a pain in the ass. Seeing it on the table and just envisioning how I'd put it on my character sheet, it's not that big of a deal to me anymore. I still just think it's nuance that's not needed.
No, it's still... Yeah. It's complexity that's unneeded, and it doesn't give enough benefit to justify its
Agreed.
complexity.
I mean, somebody might argue, you sure -5 AC isn't enough complexity? And to be fair, if you start at first level characters, and by the time you're a grandmaster, you'll be higher level, you'll know your character in and out, blah, blah, blah. I get all of that. I'm not saying you should never do it in your game. I'm just saying that as a second edition guy, I'm going to go play second edition instead of use this. Okay. That's my take on it. I don't hate it. I think it's over the top. And no, I'm not going to look at the torch anymore. That took too long. We got more to read. So you guys get the idea for the chart, how to read the chart, and it's all done down here. I mean, the table itself isn't bad. I kind of feel that the little pointy finger stuff isn't necessary, but let's be honest. just as we read some of those sentences of rules up there that like that's a dumb rule, but we know why it's in the game. Okay, we understand why it has these symbols in the game as well, because you know somebody's going to try something weird.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to our regularly scheduled program here. How to read the table. Well, we already did that, so we're just going to move on. Special effects descriptions. Okay, we are not going to read all of these. Let's pick up a couple that just seem weird. How about delay? Delay seems weird.
Death. Death.
Is
Just
death on
death.
here? Oh, death. The victim is reduced to 0 hit points.
Yeah. That's not a spec.
Special effects, blowguns are. Oh, so that's for these special weapons. That's a blowgun. So if the victim's level or hit dice is up to 1, so basically it's a first level creature, and it fails its save, it dies. However, a 16th hit die creature, 16th level character, gets a +5 bonus to a save and only loses 10% of hit points.
Okay, so jabronis die real quick, but
okay,
named characters have a good chance.
That's one of the benefits and flaws of Dungeons and Dragons. Doesn't matter which edition you're playing. Some people love this, some people hate it. I'm on both sides of the fence. I accept it when I'm playing it. I prefer to play other games. Okay, and that's this. A first level character and a 10th level character are not the same. A first level character and a 36th level character, there's just no comparing.
It's like fighting a child. It's like an adult fighting a 5-year-old.
I think in the real world, I'd be more scared of a 5-year-old. If you're playing just by pedantic rules, right? But let's flip the script on that. That's core to the game, though. So this makes sense. Why doesn't my blowgun just kill him? Well, because he's a high-level character. That's why. It's baked into the game. Yeah.
He's experienced. He's gritty.
That's why you don't die from one hit anymore.
Yeah.
All right. Let's. I wanted to see. Was it delay? A victim hit by this weapon must make a saving throw or lose initiative the next round. Oh, that's okay. I like that. If the type is what's that?
Like a stun.
Yeah.
It's like a stun.
If the type of saving throw is not specified, it's saving throw versus paralysis. For missile attacks, this effect occurs only at the indicated ranges. All right. No damage, hook, ignite. Yeah, okay. I think we can figure that one out. No offhand penalty. That's interesting. If a campaign is using the optional 2-weapon combat rules, see Chapter 8. There's going to be a lot of stuff to talk about in Chapter 8, apparently. The Cestus does not take a -4 penalty or the -1 weapon mastery level penalties when used in the offhand. If the character uses 2 Cesti, he can strike with both weapons at the same time for success. And you know what? Here's what I'll say to that. If that comes with your progression through, was it excellent or what? Expert, master, and grandmaster, I'm okay with that. I'm as long as you're not getting that like just hand waving the rule at basic. I'd even say skilled. You should still have some penalty. All right, strangle, skewer, stun. I think we can all figure those out. Individual weapon descriptions. We are not going to read those. You can figure that out. There's a lot of different ones in here. Throwing rarely thrown weapons. Several of the weapons lifted in the Western Mastery table. Okay, we got that. I mean, to be fair, what we looked at was a rarely thrown weapon, right? To throw these weapons, the attacker must make a normal attack roll modified by strength, not by dexterity. Yeah, because you're really just brute forcing that thing across the room, right? There's
no aerodynamics
exactly. Since
involved.
the maneuver is unexpected, the attacker first checks to see if the foe is surprised.
I would be.
1 and 2 on a 1d6. You know what? I never even thought of that rule. That does make sense, though. It's like, he's not going to throw his mace at me. Whap! Fair enough. Yeah. If the victim is not surprised, the victim makes a saving throw versus death rate to reduce the damage by half. If he is surprised or if he fails a saving throw, he takes full damage from the attack. Okay. I have no issues with that.
Sure.
Retroactive weapon mastery. You know what? That seems too convoluted. I'm not going to get into that. If somebody says, oh my God, no, you got to read it. It's really cool. Well, guess what? Go buy the book and read it. Weapon using monsters. They don't use weapon mastery stuff. But apparently, monsters may use weapon mastery rules if they ordinarily use weapons to attack. The ogre, you know what So
orcs, ogres, kobolds, stuff like that, they use, daggers and short swords and clubs and stuff, and maybe they can have weapons.
I am
No.
going to the ogre club with a nail in it monastery. And I'm going to go get trained.
That'll do it.
Its maximum possible skill is determined by its intelligence, as given in. Okay, so I'll be fair. If a monster has an 18 intelligence, sure, yeah, I'm there. I'm there. If somehow you've got the epitome, the top tier, super genius of human intelligence, equivalent human intelligence, yeah, you can be a master. I'm not gonna take that away from you. Ogres, on the other hand, I don't know. You come to Ogre Club Smash School. We teach you good. And that's where we end today because the next video is on general
Most
skills.
of that I thought was garbage. Most of that was hot garbage. I wouldn't use almost any of it.
I wouldn't call it hot garbage. I would call it unnecessary.
Would not use it.
All right,
All
what
right,
do we have
so
for chat in there?
We got chat here. We got oh no, this is for later. Sorry. We got a super chat for $2.
The nun class.
The nun class specializes in the yardstick. Yes, they do.
I'm so glad I went to Lutheran school and not nun school, so they didn't beat us like that.
Yeah,
they beat us.
And we have in 1E and 2E, shields could block all attacks from the front and shield side attacks. They did not provide AC bonus to weapon side of rear attacks unless the shield was worn on the back.
That makes sense.
That I always thought that made sense because you have a shield right here and you have a weapon right here. Someone attacking from weapon side, well, you can't really do that very effectively. I get it. You can defend from the front right, the right, and maybe even the right rear on special occasions, but I wouldn't even go there. And everywhere else, you do not get the benefit of the shield. That makes perfect sense.
The thing is that the one caveat to that, based on the rules we just read, though, are that these rules here are for the entire round, or it's based on your action. You're not kind of, whoa, was that the second or third attack? How many attacks do I get with your lower armor class? Again, I might be making it sound harder than it actually is. It just seems overly cumbersome for no good reason.
Yeah, no, and this makes perfect sense. But if you are not using miniatures, and you're going about it like it is a scrum, like it is a fight where everyone's moving around all the time, it's best to just give the armor class and let it go. It's best to do that. If you're not using miniatures, do that instead.
Okay, I can't type. Oh, is that it?
That is it. Yeah. Everything else is got here late. Bueller. I think it makes sense, but it's convoluted. I agree.
Yeah, no. Here's the thing. I'm not saying it's the worst game design thing ever. Nobody should ever use that. I'm saying that you have to understand that I'm comparing almost everything in this book to my second edition framework. And second edition has specialization. You can spend proficiency points into weapon specialization. Now, does it do all the things that this book does? No. I mean, maybe it does if you get the fighter's handbook or something, but I didn't use most of the crap in there anyway. It still gave you bonuses. It still allowed you to improve, but you didn't have to compare to all these different weird things and fail your training and then have it only happen for 1 or 2 attacks in the round, or it's just these things that I know that me as a game master, I don't want to calculate. Just be upfront with you. I don't want to calculate that stuff. I very rarely, this book is proving me a liar when I say this, but I very rarely, almost never say that, well, it slows the game down. There are a couple instances where I do, but generally speaking, I don't believe that concept. It is still a game. This kind of just jumps over too far into the calculation side.
Yeah. Having to recalculate your armor class partway through a round and having everyone do that and get a different result. So you're basically fighting a different group of people halfway through the round because all their armor classes have changed. That's too far. And plus, nowhere in that entire section did it actually tell me why all of the other weapon rules that we've read up until this point seem to not exist.
Yeah, well, what I'm starting to think, remember, folks, we have not read through this book. We understand Dungeons and Dragons, but we haven't read through this book, so some of this is a surprise to us, and I like that. It keeps the book interesting. But I'm starting to think that the stuff that I was expecting here, or that I thought was in this chapter, is actually going to be in Chapter 8.
Well, maybe so.
But we're only in Chapter 5 right now, so.
This is talking all about basically weapon choices and skilled, unskilled. But according to everywhere else prior to this, especially if you're a fighter, you are considered to be skilled with all weapons.
Yeah.
But this section, this chapter, Chapter 5, completely forgets all of that. And no, fighters have 4 weapons that they can choose from any of them that they're actually skilled in. All the other ones, they're unskilled. And they do half damage with. Or if it's missile weapon, they have -1 to hit.
It might also be kind of a how in depth do you want your game? Do you want your game just to be, hey, here's the combat matrix? I'm going to say THAC0, but basically, here's the combat matrix. Here's your THAC0. Go attack. You're a fighter. You can use all weapons. Or do you want to dive into this pedantry? There you go. If you want to dive into the pedantry, it's there for you.
Yeah, I wish it said it was optional. I didn't see an optional thing anywhere either.
Well, at the beginning of the book, it pretty much said everything was optional.
Well,
so.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, it actually calls out, this is an optional thing. It calls it out in the book.
Yeah.
For several areas, but not this one.
Okay, so for the folks out there who know Rules Cyclopedia, and I know some of you are watching, and some of you have commented.
Yeah. Please help us out, because I'm not getting it.
Does weapon mastery supersede the notion? I'm going to use the fighter here because it's the easiest one to do. Fighters know all weapons. Okay, until you use weapon mastery. Then fighter knows 4 weapons.
Which one it takes priority? Are we reading the whole thing wrong? I don't know. I don't think we are, but it seems like a giant problem.
Okay. All right. Well, with that, next segment is going to be on general skills, and that's another long one. So we got to get to that quickly here, so that we don't run out of time. But I want to thank you all for watching. Again, especially if you're new here, would really love like, subscribe, share. Hey, even if you want to share it with your friends, like, oh my God, look at these guys. They don't even know how to play Rules Cyclopedia. Go ahead and share it with those folks as well. Let us know your thoughts about our commentary on this. Are we not getting it? Are we getting it? Please, for the love of God, if you're going to make a comment, please timestamp it so we know it. We can go back and look what you're talking about. If you just say, I disagree with Max because I think the sky is blue, I am never going to remember what I was talking about at that point. So with regard to that, please timestamp it so that I can go, oh, that's what I was saying. Okay. But in that, I hope each and every one of you has a great day.